Alright, how's it going, y'all? Today we're going to be talking about how to host your own website for about $3.50 a month using AWS Lightsail. So for those of you who don't know what AWS is, AWS stands for Amazon Web Services, and it is actually Amazon's most profitable sector. Even though it only brings in about 13% of Amazon's total revenue every year, it brings in almost 70% of their overall profit, which for such a large company is huge. So what is it? Amazon Web Services is basically a huge cloud that allows anybody to get into the cloud for next to nothing. Across the board with AWS, there are very few services that have any kind of startup costs. Generally, it is pay as you go, cancel anytime, which for small businesses is huge and is still great for large businesses. I'm planning on going more in depth with a bunch of AWS's features in the future, but this video is going to be on AWS Lightsail, which is Amazon's all-in-one monthly bundle, really geared towards web hosting, but you could use it for other things as well. So the awesome thing about AWS Lightsail is the pricing is all-inclusive and really competitive. So you can actually get started with a pretty decent server for $3.50 a month, and that includes everything you need to run a website. It even includes 1 terabyte per month transferred in and out of the server, which is insane. There is no way with just a regular website you're hitting that every month, unless you're actively using it as an upload or a download server. But for just hosting a regular website, there's no chance you're going to hit that, with this processor at least. And it's easily scalable. If you start running into needing more RAM, you can just upgrade to the next iteration and very quickly and easily scale up your website. Then also because it's built into AWS, you can also easily integrate into their CloudFront distribution, which is a CDN. And so a CDN speeds up your website in 2 different ways. First off, it allows people to access things closer to them. So transfer across an Ethernet cable is not perfect. It goes about the speed of light. So if you're all the way around the world, that can actually take a really long time, especially given the fact that there are only a few undersea cables that it has to snake through. So that can actually significantly increase the amount of time it takes just to get a single request. And this just slowly stacks everything up and makes serving content around the world really slow. And so the way CDN actually works is it stands in front of your website, and there are CDNs all around the world. Basically, when somebody hits your website from around the world, they will instead go to their nearest CDN. And that CDN will then give them any of the files on your website that it's got. Any of the files it doesn't have, it will request from your website and have them in its cache for future users. And anything like the database operations will still go to your website because that way everything syncs up. This way, they get much faster response times, and your actual web server gets a lot less traffic to it. This means if your website all of a sudden gets on the front page of Reddit, you're getting a lot less requests directly to your website. Instead, Amazon's delivery system will take care of all of that. And so those are the 2 different ways it speeds it up. It not only gives people quicker access to it by being closer, but it also removes a bunch of unnecessary requests from your main web server, meaning everything gets distributed out and therefore faster. Alright, and so now we're actually going to go through and set up a very simple WordPress site on Amazon Lightsail. All you need for this is an AWS account, which is free to set up, and a domain name, and that can be hosted anywhere. If you don't already have a domain name, you can buy them from Google for very cheap. And that way you'll be able to have your own website. Alright, and so the first thing you're going to want to do is just go ahead and log into Lightsail, and I'll leave a link to it in the description below. And so this right here is the Lightsail console. And so as you can see right here, this is the SpaceRex web server right now. That's that website I've created. But now we want to create a second WordPress site. And so it's incredibly easy to do. All you have to do is go in right here and click Create Instance. One thing to note, the way Lightsail billing works is it's per hour. And so if you spin up a new instance, have it running for an hour, and kill it, you will only pay for 1 hour of the entire month, instead of the full monthly rate. So it's great for testing things for literally pennies. And so the first thing we got to choose is where we would like our instance to be. Basically, this is the physical location of the server. One thing to note, prices can change across them. So something like in Northern California, where cost of living and cost of land is incredibly high, will have higher prices. But in Oregon, it is their low base price. So you can choose whatever region you would like to. I personally chose mine in Oregon because it's one, on the West Coast, and that's where I am right now. And two, it's still in the lowest price point. So that way it's closest to myself and probably a lot of my viewers, and it's still a very low price point. So I'm going to select Oregon. And you can also select a certain availability zone here. This only really matters if you're creating a high availability web server and you want this to fall back. Basically, you can select that your website is hosted on a separate zone, meaning if one zone goes down, this one will fall back. But that's only really for manual operations. And now we can go down and choose our instant image. So since we're doing WordPress, we'll just do Linux, and Lightsail has made it incredibly easy by already having a snapshot with WordPress already installed and configured for you. So that's what we're going to select. So now if you wanted to, you could set up a launch script or set up your own SSH keys. In this case, we really don't need to do SSH keys unless you want to be logging in from your computer. But in reality, that's not needed unless you're constantly logging in, because they've already got a great web-based terminal that you can log into through this Lightsail console. So I would not mess with either one of these. I would, however, recommend enabling automatic backup snapshots. And you can choose what time the snapshots occur. I would recommend doing it when the least amount of people you expect to be on your website. And these snapshots are incredibly cheap, and they're also thin snapshots. So they really don't take up that much space. I think I pay about $2 a month for daily snapshots, which is great. It then keeps the last 7 days, so if anything happens to your site, you can go back and restore it from those, which is really important to do. I would say it's definitely worth it to have that $2 a month. And now you just choose what type of instance you would like. AWS allows you to get huge bundles, which start getting very expensive, but can be very powerful. But for us, we're just going to start with the most basic $3.50 a month. And now you just need to name it. And for large businesses, AWS has this tagging feature, which allows you to tag certain resources to either certain departments or anything like that, and use that for search as well as bill management to see which groups are spending the most amount of money. But for you, you're probably not going to need this. And then after that, just click Create Instance. And it's going to take a minute. It takes about 3 minutes to spin up the very first time. All right, so that actually spun up a lot quicker than usual. So now that it's running, we just need to go and click on it to start it up. All right, and so now we get into the actual machine. All right, and so this first tab under Connect allows us to connect directly to the terminal. You can either use this to connect directly to it via the web GUI, or you can SSH from your local computer directly to it using a private key. Then under Storage, it comes with the 20 gigabyte disk, and you can buy additional disks and basically virtually add them to your computer for, I think, about 80 cents a gigabyte a month. Then under Networking, we've got the IP address. Right now, this is not a static IP address, but Lightsail gives you up to 5 free static IP addresses as long as they're constantly attached to instances. So we can just right here click Create Static IP Address. Then we're going to go and attach it to the SpaceRex tutorial, and then we'll give it a name. And so now we just create it. And so now we have this public static IP address connected to this instance. And that means we'll directly be able to point our host name to this IP address and have people connect to it easily. So now let's go back to that Lightsail instance. And so we can see that we've got 2 different IP addresses, a static IP address and a private IP address. Really, they're both static, but that's the naming. So the private IP address allows you to connect to all your different resources across AWS, basically as a local network. And it generally is much cheaper to transfer data in between, and it's much more secure because it's just going through your internal servers. Next up, we'll go to the snapshots. where they've got two options here. You can create manual snapshots, which last forever until you delete them, and we've got automatic snapshots. And so automatic snapshots were enabled, but we're actually going to want to change this from 5 p.m. Pacific to something like 1 a.m. Pacific time, because I think that that is when the least amount of people are going to be on my server. Finally, here we have tags, which are what I mentioned earlier, and history, which can help you go through everything. And finally, if we would like to delete an instance. Now note, just hitting stop on an instance does not stop your billing from occurring. You actually have to delete the instance to stop getting billed for it. So overall, that was an overview of the site. So now we're actually going to go ahead and connect to it using SSH. And so this is that web terminal that I was talking about. For most things, it's just incredibly easy to use rather than having to SSH from your local computer, but it's really up to you. So right now we need to figure out what the randomly generated first-time login password was for our WordPress site. And so it's actually stored in a file here. So what you're going to want to do here is you want to make sure you're in your home directory by cd tilde. Then if we do an ls, we'll see that there's this Bitnami application password file. We're just going to do a cat Bitnami application password. And that's just going to show us the first time password. So now what we need to do is go ahead and log in to our WordPress site. And right now, we're just going to be using this public IP address to log in. So go ahead and copy the public IP address. Do http:// the IP address /wp-admin for WordPress admin. So now this is that WordPress login page. We're going to log in with user. For the username, we're going to go back and copy that password and paste it in there. And so just like that, we are now in the WordPress admin page. Let's go ahead and just update all the plugins. And so I'll save setting up all these different options for another time. But first thing we're going to want to do is create a new user. Right now, there's no reason to keep this user as an administrator. So the first thing you're going to want to do is create your own user. So fill out their username, make sure this email address is correct. Right now we do not yet have email set up. And then for a password, you're definitely going to want to choose a strong password. And you're going to want to change the role to an administrator. And just click Add New User. So now that we have a new administrator account, what we're going to want to do is sign out as user and sign in as that new user we just created for yourself. Then we're going to go back into users. And so what we're going to want to do is take this first user and change him from an administrator and just change him to a subscriber. So that way the account's not deleted, but it has no permissions on your website. So right now, our website does not look like much. It's just the default WordPress homepage. But right now it's just stuck on this IP address right here, which I don't think we're going to get anybody to type in to get to our website. So now what we need to do is we need to start telling our domain name to forward any traffic it finds to the website to this IP address, because that way somebody can just type in spacerex.co and be brought to your website rather than having to type in the IP address. So I'm just going to show you really quickly how to do this with Google Domains. So for me, I've just gone into spacerex.co on Google Domains, and we're going to go under DNS. And then we're going to scroll down all the way to custom resource records. And so what we're going to do is we're going to set up what's called an A record on our DNS to point to the IP address of Lightsail. And so we're going to call it tutorial. We'll leave it as 1 hour, and we're going to paste in that IP address again. So now anytime somebody types tutorial.spacerex.co, it will automatically be brought to our IP address. And so that way it'll operate like every other website. All right, so now that's added, but we're gonna have to wait a little while for that to become active. All right, so it's been about an hour now. And so what we're gonna do is try to log in now. So we're gonna type tutorial.spacerex.co. And so just like that, it was brought to our WordPress site. And now you're all set up. You can go through and create your own WordPress site incredibly easily. That's actually what I've done for SpaceRex. SpaceRex.co is completely hosted on AWS Lightsail using WordPress. And I did this all myself pretty easily, honestly. It's a really easy way to throw together a website and be able to expand and get huge capacities with a very small development team. All right, well, that's all I've got for you. In the future, I'm going to be doing tutorials on how to set up SSL and things like that. But go ahead and leave any other AWS or WordPress tutorials you'd like to see me make in the comments below. And have a good one. Bye.